Rest is not something you earn after you break, but most people are living like it. To the ones who've been holding it all, the silence, the emotions, the logistics, this space is for you. There's an unspoken rule that a lot of high-functioning people live by. You rest when everything is done. After the work is finished, after the house is in order, after everyone else is okay, after the problem is solved. And even then, you sit down and feel guilty about it. Because somewhere along the way, rest stopped being a basic human need. It became something you had to deserve. For people who are responsible, capable, dependable, life quietly becomes a cycle of constant output. Work, family, decisions, emotional labor, logistics. You become the one who keeps things moving, the organizer, the stabilizer, the person who absorbs the tension so everyone else doesn't have to. From the outside, it looks like strength, and it is. But capability hides a lot of exhaustion. The people who look the most together are often the ones running on the list. This is especially true when you're carrying multiple roles at once. Professional, mother, partner, daughter, caregiver, the emotional regulator in every room you walk into. You keep going because people rely on you. And slowly, without noticing it, rest starts to feel indulgent. Something you take later. But later keeps moving. The body is patient at first. It starts with whispers, fatigue, brain fog, that feeling of being permanently stretched thin. But if the whispers are ignored long enough, the body stops whispering. Burnout, illness, emotional shutdown. Because the body will eventually do what the mind refuses to. It stops you. I learned this the hard way. For most of my life, I was someone who kept going. Work, family, responsibilities. If something needed to be carried, I carried it. Rest was something I told myself I'll take later. And eventually my body made the decision for me. I got very sick. What followed was a year of everything slowing down in a way I'd never experienced. A year I can only describe as collapse. Even now, my body still carries that time with it. I live with a chronic fatigue that wasn't there before. And honestly, I still struggle to listen. Years of pushing doesn't disappear overnight. I still catch myself trying to override the signals. One more task. One more thing. Just this last thing. But my body tells me now. Not loudly, usually quietly. Through exhaustion. through that heavy feeling that simply says, slow down. I'm still learning to listen before it has to shout. Because I used to believe that strength meant pushing through. I'm learning now that sometimes strength is stopping sooner. Here's one of the most important shifts you can make. Rest is not a reward for productivity. Rest is a biological need. Just like sleep, just like food, your nervous system was never designed for constant output. It needs cycles, effort, then restoration, engagement, then recovery. When that cycle breaks, you don't just get tired, you get depleted. And depletion is much harder to come back from. When people hear the word rest, they picture something big. A holiday, a spa day, time completely off. But real rest is usually much smaller than that. Sometimes it's closing the laptop when the day is done, and not at midnight, and not after one more thing, just when the day is done. Sometimes it's saying, I'll deal with that tomorrow, and letting the evening be quiet. Sometimes it's a walk without a podcast, without messages, just letting your mind slow down. Sometimes it's letting the house be a little messy, letting something wait. And sometimes rest is emotional, not fixing every problem, not holding the weight of every room, not being the one who makes it okay for everyone else. Rest doesn't always mean doing nothing. It often just means stopping the constant output. Deciding that not everything has to be carried today. If you're someone who carries a lot, who keeps things running, who shows up even when you're running on empty, this is your reminder. You do not have to collapse to deserve rest. Your body doesn't need proof of exhaustion. It only needs permission. And sometimes the strongest thing you can do is pause before life forces you to. Because when we refuse to rest, the body rests us. You've been holding it all. The silence, the emotions, the logistics. Here, you can set some of it down.